How much money could you make?
30,000 to, you in the right market, anywhere to 50,000 and more. You have to have cash. You have to have a certain amount. You have to have credit. Uh,
That's
it's
cap.
it's cap, man. It's cap.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another. We are back. Episode 22.
22. 22. That's when
222.
that's when 21 turned 22. For real, for real. Yes, sir. We back in the motherfucking building.
As always,
Do the shit. I can't do it.
Tony.
I ain't from New York.
Tony. Let my team introduce themselves.
I am the one and only Thomas Jones. I feel like it's kind of scary. I don't know why, but I think it's because I watched Alien. We got the other man.
Fucking Tantrum in the building once again, man. AKA the man in the dark. AKA the angry man with glasses.
Yes, sir. Dude,
I feel like by now they should know.
There you go.
And if you don't know, now you know.
You did. Straight up. Yes, sir. Gentlemen, we back, y'all. We back.
Yeah,
we ain't get canceled. Google, you can't stop shit, Google. Fuck you. You can't stop this.
They
Go
watch.
ahead.
They watch it.
I know they watching. So I'm talking to them.
Motherfuckers gonna cut this shit off right now.
For real.
Hey, nigga.
I'm going. We're going to Twitter. Pack it up, you guys. We're going to Twitter.
Back it up, right?
We're going to Twitter.
Shit. This episode today, we're talking about business. We're talking about real estate wholesaling.
I heard about that.
I don't want to be the person to introduce
Real estate
or define
wholesaling.
what a. One more
What
time.
is that?
Shit, I'm trying to ask y'all. What is a wholesaling?
Shit. Layman's terms, it's a concept in real estate, you guys. And, a lot of people use the word middleman. I really don't, or middle woman or whatever. I really don't like that terminology, because at the end of the day, you're a business person, a businessman, businesswoman. But it's a strategy where, you as a business person, you find specific and unique problems in the housing market. It can range from a number of different things, a number of different situations, that is. But ultimately, wholesaling is finding unique, tough problems and trying to find it and bring a solution, to the problem. You do make money, if you do it right. But at the end of the day, it's finding problems and and being the service to find a solution for them. What else do you guys want to add to that?
I fuck with that. So I feel like that's kind of the definition of an investor. Yeah, I feel like an investor finds problems and I also feel like wholesalers are a form of are investors. They invest their time into the business.
Yes, sir.
So, but my definition of a wholesaler, I know you say you don't really like the middleman word, but it basically really is just the middleman. It's finding people that want to sell a property, and it's finding a real estate investor that is looking for a property, at a discount, and it's bringing those two people together. So you kind of playing the middleman. But
I only say middleman because
Yeah, middleman sucks. Let's just say connect the dots.
Connector.
Connecting the dots.
Because at the end of the day, you might have opportunity to actually purchase the property, with different strategies. So it's never but yeah, it just has a kind of a bad taste in the mouth of a lot of people. Like, I'm just a middleman, so I try to make it a little cleaner for them when they get into it. But yes, sir. It's definitely you the plug, baby. You become the plug. Everybody want to come to you. You do the shit right, Everybody gonna want to come to you. Yes, sir.
Yep. And you brought up different strategies. So there are different strategies in real estate or real estate as a wholesaler.
Indeed.
Um, there's foreclosures.
You got
There's
foreclosures,
there's finding distressed properties.
distressed properties,
There's tired landlords that you could go after.
tight as
They
fuck.
tired.
Probate,
They
Probate.
dead.
They
tax
gone.
liens,
They broke.
vacant properties.
They gone
I don't
too.
know what's going on with that.
There are strategies, different strategies that you could use, but this episode we're sticking to foreclosures.
Why the
Yes,
tough
sir.
one? Why the tough one? Hey, if y'all can get
Um,
through this one, the other ones is gonna be a breeze. I feel like our the strategy as far as speaking what they'll see in the role playing. I think if you can talk to these people who are some of the most emotional outside of probate, if they're connected to the homeowner
The most
super
delusional
close.
too. Heads up.
Nah, definitely. And probate, you guys, is just when somebody passes. It's a court procedure to find out who actually is going to own the property. So just for that. But yeah, go ahead.
what qualifies as a distressed property?
So it's going to be anything that either you walk past it, grass isn't cut as high, the roof is caving in a little burnt, a little bit, or burnt property, a property that needs some love and condition, whether it's cosmetic on the inside or clearly on the outside, whether it's abandoned or a property that's needs someone to take it over and to fix it up. It's in distress. It's stressing. The property is stressing. It's
A bit
falling
stressed.
apart. The property pulling this roof off. Like, yeah, damn, somebody move in. Straight up. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, like I said, this episode we will be talking mainly about foreclosures or pre-foreclosures. Um, how would you know if a property is a foreclosure property or pre-foreclosure property? Where do
Talk
you
to us,
get
Tone.
that data?
Talk to us, Tone.
It got quiet. It got quiet. But
You have been
you would,
summoned.
yeah, you would normally get that information through depending on the county that you're searching in. What their website. You could either go to the county clerk in that area or go to the courts in that area. But yeah, it would have to be what's the term called? List pendants or something like that.
Every state or county has listed different, so it's
Sure.
listed different for everybody. But list pendants is I believe one in New York, maybe, I don't know. It's not in the
That's
market
it.
I'm in.
Yeah, but it goes by different terms they call it. But all of the information, like Tone said, you will be able to find those court records. Either you just type in whatever state you're in. Let's say you're in Arizona. You say Arizona County Clerk foreclosures. Something's going to show up. You go in there. You might have to create create a username, and it doesn't cost anything. They just want to know who's accessing the information. Sometimes you don't, but
Yeah, information free.
yes, you don't need no money for that. Now I'm
Free
gonna say,
99.
sometimes you can purchase it. If you want to, do it a lot faster. But if you have the time, because you're a beginner, take your time. Pull every number, highlight it, copy, paste, and put it into your Excel. But there will come a time when you want to do things a lot more fast and efficient after you done got your system down, where you can, in most counties, purchase the records, whether like Tone said, in person at the and down at the court or online. But for most cases, yes, it is free.
Okay. So we spoke a little bit about what foreclosures were and how to get the information.
Well,
So
we
once
didn't
we
really talk too much about what foreclosures are. talked about distressed, and we talked about
Okay,
probate a little
got you,
bit.
got
So
you,
we
got
Hold
you.
on.
definitely
Let's
got to
let's
talk
pump our
about it.
brakes. Let's pump our brakes because we were talking about wholesaling and we didn't even fully explain what wholesaling is for the beginners.
What did we miss out? Talk
What did
to
we
us, Tom.
miss?
Like the process of wholesaling. We didn't explain that at all. The general process of a wholesale deal for the people listening.
Yeah,
Got you,
it's
got you.
you finding somebody that needs to sell their property, and you finding
Oh, you
that,
did say it.
yeah, and then bringing them shits together.
Fusion. Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
we spoke, we spoke about the process of, but we didn't speak about what a foreclosure is. So a foreclosure is basically, there's a homeowner. The homeowner is behind usually 4 to 6 payments. If they miss 4 to 6 payments, the bank files paperwork to auction the house to get their money, and they usually give you a little time frame. It could be 30 days, it could be 60 days. Some states it could be 120 days. It all depends on where you are. But basically, once that date comes up, they auction the property and you lose the property. And the point of a wholesaler is to get to that property or get to that issue before the bank takes it. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And with that being said, there are a number of different reasons that someone could go into foreclosure, which you guys will see. There are tax purposes, people not paying their house taxes. There are people that get work done on their house, and people put a lien,
Mm-hmm.
or creditors put a lien on your property.
HOAs.
HOAs. We all hate them. Fuck you, HOAs. We hate you like Google. Um, they'll put a lien on your property and cause you to go into foreclosure. What else, gentlemen? Missing one more, I do believe, for the most cases.
That could cause foreclosures.
Yes.
Yeah, losing a job. Losing a job. I feel like that's the number one cause of foreclosures.
Lack
Yeah.
of
Yep. Yeah.
finances.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lack of
Yep.
finances. Yep. Yep.
Yes, sir.
So we spoke about what a wholesaler is. We spoke about what pre-foreclosures are, and we spoke about how to find that data. Uh, what next?
So you go to the courts, you find you pretty much get someone's name, and you gotta find out a way to contact them. I'll let you guys piggyback the best ways to skip trace or find these people or get in contact with these people.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead. Talk to us, Tom. Tony. Where do
So where do you go to find this information? So if you're a beginner, of course, you're not trying to spend too much money or no money at all. There's a website called
true people?
TruePeopleSearch.com.
Is that true?
Sometimes it be lies. Sometimes it be false. False people search.
Y'all will find that out too.
At peoplesearch.com.
But yeah, usually if you go to this website, you enter the address of the person, and it'll bring up a list of people that either stay in that property or stayed in that property. And you'll just find the person, you'll find the owner, click on that information, and you'll be presented with the owner's name, relatives, phone numbers, email addresses, and possible relatives.
Damn,
Yeah,
a lot of
all of
information.
it. Yeah, all of it.
For
Now you
free
got.
99.
You said y'all it's free.
For free 99.
Free.
So I don't gotta pay none. I can start doing this right now. Just
You
finding
can start
people.
doing this shit right now. Just start
Mhm.
finding people.
I don't need no credit card.
Mhm.
I need no credit card. No credit
I
card.
got.
Stop.
I gotta go, y'all.
You about to go do it? All right. So,
Straight up.
uh, okay. So we spoke about where to get the information from. Let's speak about the common misconceptions of wholesaling. I'll let you take it away, Thomas.
Gotcha. And I kind of spoke on it a little bit. One of the main, you know, common misconceptions about, this industry being wholesaling is that you have to have money, you have to have cash, you have to have a certain amount, you have to have credit. Uh,
That's
it's
cat.
it's it's cat, man. It's cat. I wish I had a hat. I got a hoodie. But so you don't like we said, a lot of the systems are free. Now it does take a little more time, but with that time, you actually get to learn. You learn how these systems operate. That way, when you do translate this information, or, take this information, put it into your Excel. Hopefully you set it up in a way that it makes sense and organize it similar to how they do it. So that's one misconception. You don't need any money to start this. Um, you know, another misconception is that you have to have a business. Now it's recommended, if you're going to be productive in this and you make some money, you like any person, you want to hide some of that money, you want to get write-offs for that,
Taxes.
so yeah, taxes. So uh, we definitely suggest it. Go ahead, get you your first deal, and then go ahead and get you a business. It doesn't cost too much. You can, $100. Go ahead
Only if
and
you don't
say
have the funds. Only if you don't
yes.
have the funds. But if you do have the funds, start that
Go ahead.
business.
Yeah.
It'll save you in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Yes, sir. Another misconception, which is kind of starting to happen now, is that wholesaling is illegal. Now it has gotten a bad name in a lot of people's mouths because with any industry there are people that do bad business. So that's one thing. But wholesaling in its entirety is not illegal. Now, there are some states that are making it harder for wholesalers to be wholesalers, but there's always loopholes. So, once you dive into this, you'll start to follow people. They'll give you updates on what to do. You might have to double close. We won't go into what that is, but you just YouTube it. There's a guy named Pace Morby who'll tell you all about it. Um, a couple other ones. It's it's not a quick get rich scheme. If you're coming into this saying, "Oh, it's going to be easy," it's easy only if you like to learn. It's not quick. Now, that's not to say that you might not that you won't get an opportunity, whenever it's meant for you. But in all actuality, it takes time to learn. It takes time to learn how to speak to these people. It takes time to learn about the systems or how to get the information. We spoke about one of the ways. There are multiple systems that you can double check this information that you're pulling. But it takes time. It takes time to learn all the way around. And I feel like the most part about learning that you'll acquire is about self. And I feel like all of us can, contest to that.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So, and then one of the other misconceptions is that you have to have a license. You have to be a realtor. You have to go to school for this, or you don't. You do have to do some type of schooling on your own, and find you a
Self
community.
education.
Yeah, that way you can learn with other people as well. But no, you don't need no licenses. You don't have to be a realtor. We look down on them, but we don't. We love them, but don't put a limit on yourself.
Right.
But gentlemen, those are some of the misconceptions.
so, so it's just that easy to get into real estate. You don't need any money to get in real estate.
You
You
just need
don't.
knowledge, time, and effort.
You don't.
Is this
It
business
helps.
for everybody?
Say that again.
Is this business for everybody?
It is. It's if you just got to find out your niche. Some people are not the best, in communicating to other people. Some people are more analytical. They like data. There is, just like in the film industry, there's people that hold lights, and they're in a union getting paid big bucks. So there is an avenue for you. One of the great investors, Pace Morby, as I mentioned him earlier. He calls it finding your avatar. Finding it, finding your voice, what you like to do, what you're comfortable in doing, what's your passion, finding that and putting that into this industry, and you'll be a-okay.
Okay. I had a question, but I fucking lost it.
It's gonna come back to you. It's gonna come back to you.
Okay, so if you're working in a if you have a job, you're making $200,000 a year. Would you tell that person they should start a wholesale business, or would you tell that person they should continue to go the route that they're going and use money differently or
Talk to
use
us,
their
Chance.
time differently?
Listen. Ownership comes with this. There's levels to certain shit in life when it comes to fulfillment and happiness. There's people who are working making 200K a year and they're stressed the fuck out. Maybe they're getting work too hard. Maybe there's too much mental pressure on them, et cetera, et cetera. Ownership, in reality, we're all gonna have problems, no matter whether you have a penny to your name or 2 billion to your name. Choose your problems. I'd rather have a problem trying to scale my business than have a problem trying to find another job that's paying 200K because the one I'm fucking dreading it or whatever the case may be. So it's better to have ownership because then you kind of have the power to make the decisions for yourself and it gives you more flexibility. So owning a
Yes,
business
sir.
and running a business is comes with more than just the dollar amount when it comes to comparison of working. And
Yes,
it brings you
sir.
closer to financial freedom as well. So even though we're not gonna delve into that, definitely get your pivot towards financial freedom.
Yes,
You
sir.
get
You
your most
become a
valuable
boss.
asset, and that's your time.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I wouldn't recommend anyone that's making about $200,000 a year to stop their job or quit their job to pursue wholesaling, because the average, if you have a job, you're used to being told what to do and you're used to the money coming that easy. When it comes to starting a wholesale business, that's something completely different. No one's telling you what to do. You have to rely on yourself and your own discipline. You have to show up. You got to keep showing up even when there's no, even when you don't feel like it, even when you just got to keep showing up. So I wouldn't recommend somebody that's making 200K to quit their job to do to start wholesaling. I would recommend someone that's making 200K to put that money into, you know, maybe fixing flips or something like that, and
Uh-huh.
a different route, not
Yes,
wholesaling,
sir.
because that shit
Yes,
takes
sir.
time. It takes
Finding your
time.
avatar shit. You feel me? Like you said, you don't got the time. Put that money to work for you. You at a point where you feel me. A lot of beginners, you're starting out. You don't got a lot of money. Probably don't have a job, and if you do got a job, you probably not making no
Yeah,
200,000. So hey, keep that thing and put
it's
that money to work.
flexibility to it. You could keep your job and start your business, and then scale it depending on the measure of success that the business is having. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely wouldn't recommend anyone just straight drop and quit their job and then go into wilderness right away. It would have to
Right.
be a smooth transition.
Unless you
Work
can
on the
handle it.
business once the business is making enough. Yeah,
If you
you
gangster
got
like
you
that, you ready to
got to
jump
go
in
through
and
the
start nothing.
trenches too.
So
Those
who
are the
would you
trenches.
that's who you wouldn't recommend it for? Who would you recommend this business to?
People who have time. Not a lot of pressure. Like one of my biggest challenges being introduced to this was like, being independent by myself. Um, and I've always just wished that I had the time and the flexibility to do more. So, people who don't, the young kids, people in their teens, mid 20s, or they got the energy and the motivation and stuff like that,
Just the young
that'd
ones?
be the best place, If you got if well not no, I'm generalizing it as the young kids because them, they don't have much responsibility.
Right, right, right.
So You know, in any event where you have most of your time to yourself, you know, you'll be investing in yourself. You know,
Yes,
if
sir.
someone who's like, I'm from New York, where you gotta have like damn near 2.5 jobs. You know, I encourage you to do it, but it comes with scaling. Everything is scaling. But you know, I encourage
Sacrifice too.
everyone who's willing to work hard, you know, push themselves every day, be tenacious within. You'll find some type of success in it.
Okay, so we spoke about what foreclosure is, pre-foreclosure is. Um, when it comes to these people, do you just approach them and say, "Hey, I saw that you ain't got no money. Can I buy your house?"
that's that's what
That's pretty
everybody say
shitty.
for.
That's just pretty shitty. And what's frowned upon about wholesaling, that there's actually people out there really trying to help people and service them. And then there's fucking sleazeballs who are just literally having that approach. But not necessarily saying that, but you know, just calling them, you know, offering to buy their property instead of offering to help them. And in some way, shape, or form, you can help people by buying their property, but motherfuckers ain't trying to hear you calling them straight up, being direct like that. Like, you know, you don't got to deceive people. And that's one thing I kind of thought initially learning it. It seemed like evil to me. Like you have to deceive people to get them to sell the property. But it's like, nah, it's just a strategic way in communicating with people and, you know, helping them understand what's the best option for them as well. So yeah, you know, you definitely want to just be a service to people. Definitely help out and shit like that. I kind of
Yeah,
forgot what the question was. I just started rambling, but
Nah, you hit it on
you
the
hit it right
head.
on the
You
nose.
yeah, when we approach these people, you know, you don't want to say or do anything that's going to trigger these people who are already in an emotional state that they're the wrong word. I'm telling you guys, the wrong word, the wrong tone, the wrong anything. You're going to turn these people off and they're going to hang up on you, or they're going to close their door, or they're going to throw your
Yeah.
letter away that you send. Any way, form of communication, they're going to ignore it because it's going to hurt them in a way. So you have to handle these people with the utmost care. I'm not saying, you know, give your whole heart into this, because you do have to have some separation. That way, you know, it doesn't emotionally drain you. But you approach it like a human being. If you don't remember what that's like, you know, go
Get
go
to
watch
meditate.
some. Yeah,
Get
go
to meditate.
go watch Tony meditate. But yeah, approach these people with love, man. Remember what that is. If you don't have it, if you do, I'm pretty sure everyone approach these people with love and try to help people. Like Tone said,
I like what
be
Michael Frankie say. He
what did he
say
say?
when he's door knocking, he says he checks his heart before before he knocks the door. Check your heart. Show love. You know, approach these people with love. Approach these people with care. You know, just help. You want to
Yeah,
be in
like it's
that
your family
hoping.
member.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
act like it's your mom or your grandma or your auntie. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't want nobody coming up to y'all's house and saying, you know what? Do you want to sell your house? I know your fucked up position. Just
And you're
sell it.
broke bitch.
Just sell it to me. Just sell it right now. Come on. What are you waiting for? Come
Right.
on.
You
It
ain't
makes
got no
sense, right?
money. You ain't
Yeah,
got no money.
you're broke. You're struggling. You know, no one likes to have their, you know, their information thrown at them. So yeah, with love and tender and care, tender, whatever it is.
Being sensitive to the situation.
Yes,
Being
sir. Yes, sir.
sensitive to the situation.
Yes,
and
sir.
and and foreclosures, is uh that is one where you have to be sensitive to the situation. And these other ones, you can approach these people like, hey, are you interested in selling your property? But most of the people that are in foreclosure, they're not wanting to sell their property. They're
Hmm.
wanting to stay in their property. They worked their whole life to have their property. They lived in those properties 25, 30 years. They want their property, and they're willing to fight for it most of the time.
Yes, sir. Even if they're delusional about the results that they can get, they still want to fight how they want to fight. So
Let's address the for the beginners here what we mean by delusional. You know, because I'm always talking about it, but I just being that you mentioned it, Thomas, let's just bring
Shit.
it up as far as how they have to. We was talking about like the sensitivity and the tonality with these homeowners that we're talking to. So let's talk about the delusional chapter that these homeowners go through, and that we have to address ourselves as the investor, like interacting with them.
Yeah, so the majority of these people, even if it was because of some temporary situation where they lost their income, they haven't been making payments. So off rip, majority of the people that you are going to get in contact with, they're going to lie to you, and probably more than once. Outside of that, when it comes to the property and fighting for it, they've probably went to Google just like people do when they have an illness or something and saw some things that, hey, I can get this for my property, and
Zillow.
yep, and there we go. That's the main one, Zillow and all the other ones. So they'll go there and say,
Fuck
hey,
this
this is,
estimate, man. Fuck
yeah,
this estimate. I just want to
that
shout that out.
they'll say this is what I can get for my property, and without the right information, it's not possible for you to get that. But they will fight tooth and nail for that number, and some people will lose their property because they're fighting so hard for a number that it's not it's not possible for them to get in their
Let me
situation.
paint a scenario here.
Ain't it?
Um, so right now I'm 7 months behind on my mortgage.
Hmm.
7 months. um, and I gave up. I don't want the property anymore. I want to sell it. My property is worth 300,000. I've lived in this property for 25 years. I want 300,000.
That boy delusional.
That boy
Delu-
delusional. Now, why am I delusional? Explain that to the audience.
All right,
Talk to
so part of the delusional part is the emotional attachment to the property. That's where it stems from. First and foremost, understand that these people that you're dealing with are emotionally attached. They grew up in it. Maybe they were children in the property. Who knows? They raised children in the property. These people have built so many memories and so many things have happened in that property. These people are not willing to look at the reality of the situation. And one of these things that you're going to face with people being delusional is most people that are delusional don't have a sense of urgency. They don't understand how much time they have. A month to them is enough time to figure it out. So, one thing I want to encourage all the newbies, and I had to learn myself, is you have to also get the homeowner to understand that they need to be urgent with the time they have. As far as educating them their options and stuff like that. That's a part of the, the delusional homeowners you gotta deal with too. Like letting them know that they don't have that much time, even though they feel like they have enough time to keep fighting back. So it's a
So,
struggle between having the knowledge of knowing like how quick things close in this business and stuff like that, but you will run into some homeowners who are willing to push, 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 push. Go ahead, T. I know he's ready to
so
jump in.
aside from the time, what else makes that delusional?
So the other thing is going to be, what they can get for the property, as we pointed out. Uh, they're going to believe that they can get a certain amount of money, whether they heard the information from a realtor, a friend, a neighbor who sold their property, or
Zillow.
they went on Zillow. Uh, you know, they'll try to compare uh, a 3 bedroom to a 2 bedroom. Um,
Five
they'll
miles
try
up
to,
the road.
indeed, 5 miles up the road. So it's so many different characteristics that come with a house that you have to, it has to match up to whatever you're comparing it to. They're called comps, comparables. So when you're comparing that property to another property, or just properties in that area, has to be, as Tony pointed out, in a certain amount of distance, and it also has to match up as far as garage. It does the back, does the inside, 20 2024 standards in that area. Are they requiring marble? Are they requiring high ceiling fans? Are they requiring certain characteristics that make that market and that neighborhood what it is?
Hmm.
So a lot of homeowners don't take that into consideration. All they know is that, yes, I have these memories. I seen on Zillow that I can get this amount of money for my memories, and they're not taking into consideration that, yeah, there has to be renovations, there has to be other things. There's a bunch of costs that come into it. So you're not going to get that number, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay.
With most
Um.
strategies, there are some strategies where you can, but when it comes to urgency, with a lot of these people, we want to try to get things done sooner than later. That way, they can get most of their more. They can get more equity out of that property instead of waiting and losing the equity, and having to do other strategies that Tony spoke about, bankruptcy, which is our last resort. No one wants to do it, but it's a strategy we can use.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So.
people would tend to not want to sell themselves short. Just want to piggyback real quick. People would
But
tend not to want to sell themselves short as far as the property is concerned, versus just not losing it to the bank. That's the mindset that you kind of have to get them to understand or at least see. Because in that delusional phase, they're like, "Oh, my property's worth 300,000," but they've been in it for 20 years and there's so much wear and tear, but they still believe it's 300,000. So
yep.
yeah,
Yep. That's what I was looking for.
those are the things that you will be facing. And
Okay.
then you have to somewhat convince them and make them understand that why they can't get that property for that much, which is a challenge, but it's a part of the game. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I feel like we spoke a lot about the homeowner and their situation. Um so I want to kind of go back to us as the wholesaler. A lot of people want to know, where do you get paid? When do you get how do you get paid? Where does money come from for you?
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
everything we talked about first was acquisition. Looks like we're headed into disposition now. Okay, so you get someone that agrees that they do want to sell their property and they're willing to sell it for a discount. So what's next? I'll let you guys break it down.
Talk to us, Tony. I know you asking all the questions in the world, but people want to hear from you. You got the
You
knowledge,
see
baby.
me boomerang them shits back to
Yeah.
him, right? You see me, right? You
Hit that
see
bitch
me, right? Like,
back.
yeah, nigga, take that back.
Yeah, he said a couple
Okay.
couple sentences and like, there you go. Yes, sir.
So,
The anime, they
uh,
send the shit right back to them and shit. Yeah,
I was like, nope,
all
nope.
that.
so when it comes to these properties, of course, like Tone and Thomas just said, you can't just give them what they want for the property. There's equations and shit that goes into figuring out what numbers to offer. Um, and as long as you offer the right number, again, let's go back to my situation where my property was worth 300,000. If uh, if one of you guys offered me 150,000 and I was okay with that 150,000, that's getting that property at a 50% discount. So you take that 50% discount to somebody's that's going to an investor who's going to actually go in and do the work, and you could most investors look for a 70% discount. So you can kind of do the math to get um, what would 70% be? Let's call it 180. I'll sell it to this
Yeah,
person for
180.
180. I got it for 150. I'm gonna sell it to the person that's gonna go and do the work for
Mm-hmm.
180. He's still getting it at a big discount.
That is true.
And you just sign a contract over to them, and everything goes to title, and at the end, closing, that's when you get that 30,000.
Yes, sir. So you saying
Voila.
all I gotta do is sign somebody up who says they want to sell their property. I
Mhm.
find an investor who wants to buy that property.
Yep.
He comes in and he buys the contract from me,
Yeah, make sure
and
you lock it up. Yep, lock
yep,
it up.
and then,
Yep.
and then I get a percentage out of the out of the sale of the property.
Yes, sir. And you set the percentage. So you set your own profit.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Set your profit responsibly.
Well, I'm a boss, just
You're a
like that.
boss.
I said it the first time, but yeah, I gotta go. No, straight up. No, yeah, okay, yeah. No, that's beautiful. Um, is are there any times where I might end up losing the equity or the percentage that I initially wanted,
There
or
are
is it a
times.
guarantee?
I get what you're saying. There are times. Let's say the investor that you took this property to. Uh, hmm, well, if you're getting it at that deep of a discount, you're not going to lose any money.
Indeed.
Let's say you made an offer at 220 and my property is worth 300. You made an offer at 220, I accepted your 220. An investor comes in, I take it to the investor. The investor, comes in, he looks at the property and say, "Hey, I'm gonna have to put $40,000 into this. There's no way for me to make a profit." And then you'll have to go back and renegotiate with the person that's selling the property just so that they can lower that, so that you can make a profit, so that it works out for everybody. You want a win-win situation for everybody. You don't want to
Okay.
waste your time. You don't want to waste the homeowner's time, and you damn sure don't want to waste the investor's time.
Got you,
Mm-hmm.
got you. So I can renegotiate the number.
You can.
Would it seem weird, or would they, do you think they frown upon that, the homeowner?
In my opinion, um, actually, I did have to renegotiate one time. I had to get her to come down 20,000,
Wow.
but I didn't. I took 10,000. I made her come down 10,000. And I just took less of my profit. I was trying to make 30,000. I just said, "Hey, I'll make 20,000, and I'll let her make a little bit more." But yeah, sometimes it could be looked down upon if you have to renegotiate. A lot of the times, because those homeowners are looking for that number. They already agreed to that number. They're looking
Mm-hmm.
for that number. So a lot of the times, if you go back and renegotiate that number, those homeowners will look down upon it. But if it makes sense, if you make the renegotiation make sense, hey, I'm renegotiating for this reason here. We can't do this with this, and then if you make it make sense to them, they'll understand it, and then it's not looked down upon.
Indeed. Always go back to the numbers. Let the numbers speak for themselves. Don't make excuses. Just
And don't be
clarify
greedy.
more with them. Yeah, and do not be greedy. It's no purpose. No purpose. Let it be a win-win situation, baby. Everybody win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we spoke about how to get paid.
Hmm.
How long does it take to get paid? How long does it take to find a deal?
Um, well, again, it really depends on the strategy that you guys are going to use. More specifically, we're talking about foreclosures. Uh, it depends on who you're working with, how many people you have working with you. If you're doing it by yourself, it depends on the work that you put in. I feel like even with a team, it depends on the work you put in. You can get it sooner than later, or you can get it later than later. I feel like it is directly, you know, uh, correlated to the work you put in.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Show up, discipline yourself, um, learn.
Yeah,
Always be willing to learn because the and
yeah,
go out and meet people because meeting people, you never know who you meet. You never
indeed.
know who you
Mm-hmm.
meet, and if you
That's a
meet people
fact.
in real estate, even outside of real estate, some people you might meet a doctor. You might meet a doctor. This doctor is making $500,000 a year and has nowhere to put his money. He's just keeping it in the fucking bank. You can
Mm-hmm.
use that
Yeah,
shit.
private money
Word.
lenders.
Private money, yes, sir.
Get your own private money. Hey, you got a whole bank now. You got good
Mm-hmm.
ideas. Hey,
But
they need good ideas. Good ideas make more money.
to answer my own question,
Mm-hmm.
um, there is no real time frame as to how long it takes to get a deal. It could take for some people it takes you. Everybody's starting point is different, so it's all about
Hmm.
what you know now, what you're comfortable with, and what you're willing to tolerate and learn and sacrifice.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
some people it could take a year, some people it could take 3 months. My very first deal, I believe it took me oh this one here 4 months, I believe. Yeah, and I feel like that's rare these days because a lot of people I'm like in the looking at Facebook and shit like that. For people that are in real estate, a lot of people are still looking for their deal, a year later or 7 months later. But it all depends on how much time and effort and work and showing up that they do.
Indeed. Indeed. Yes, sir. Yep. And it's correlated as well with the avenue that you choose. A lot of them are a little more simpler. Uh, you don't have to deal with, super emotional people. With distressed properties, it's a little easier. It might be a little harder to find the people who, own the property, but when you do, you know, more than likely they're going to be disconnected from it.
Hmm.
Tired landlords. It says it for itself. They're tired. They're a little more motivated to let the property go. It does have to make sense, and you still do have to present yourself, and what you're presenting, the words have to all match up. Tone, everything still has to be professional. So it comes with learning comes with that. So hey, however fast you want to get through school, you want to
Right.
spend all day studying and want to ace that fucking exam and graduate early, well, it'll happen. It definitely will happen. But we all
That
know
shit
we
is
all
like
got
being
life.
like a lion, like being an animal in real life. Like, it's not like a job where you put in the work and you expect a check. You have to literally hunt for your food, and you don't eat until you kill. So, you got to keep that mindset when you're doing that shit. You don't eat until you kill.
Oh,
Know what I
but when
mean?
you
Yes,
So
sir.
eat,
Oh
when you
yeah,
eat, you're
see,
gonna
when you
eat good. But when you
ah,
eat,
some,
you're gonna eat really, really
some,
fucking good.
you
Thank
gonna
you
have
giving every time
ribs,
you eat.
crabs. You gonna have boils, seafood boils all the time. Fuck just income tax. You ain't gotta wait for income tax no more.
right.
You
Hey,
nah,
it was one year. It was one year I didn't even care about my income taxes at all. Like I just wasn't even worried about it. I wasn't gonna file.
nah, straight up, and that's the whole. That's the thing. I remember someone told me before, a businessman told me, he was like, the rich people, we don't look forward to getting no money back. You feel me? We want that shit just to say we don't owe no money. That's all.
Right. That's
Everybody
a
is
fact.
wanting income tax money. That's we don't want that. But yeah, get to that point where it doesn't become something you're looking forward to, because you're your own boss, baby. You write you set your own hours, you set your own percentages, you negotiate your own deals.
Exactly.
Man, it's crazy. It's real freedom. In other words,
Total
we have real
control.
freedom. Indeed.
Um, this wasn't on the thing here, but we spoke about finding. I'm going back a little bit now. I feel like we kind of skipped a step. We
Okay,
spoke
talk to us.
about finding buyers
Hmm.
or yeah, sellers.
Sellers.
How do you
Yep.
find buyers?
Yes, sir. Well, you can find buyers a couple different ways. I would mention, Facebook. However, it's getting pretty saturated, oversaturated. A lot of the people on there aren't real buyers, so be wary. But I will say it is possible. My first deal was on Facebook. Um, I kind of got worried at first, but everything came through and it worked. So just do your due diligence. Ask for certain things. If they're a buyer, ask for their is their HUD, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yep.
That's
criteria?
one.
Yep. Well, ask for their HUD, and that just shows that they've done more. They've done deals.
Got
Um,
it.
uh, um, and then ask them for what they're actually looking to buy. Um, you can look on Zillow. Um, properties sold recently. See if they were sold with cash. Um, you can also go to meetups, network. There's going to be buyers, there's going to be sellers. Go out there, talk to people. You can go to title companies, build a relationship with them. They might know some buyers. Uh, yeah.
It's a
What
lot of
else am I
ways.
missing, gentlemen?
It's a lot of
Yeah.
ways. Use the internet, man. Just use the fucking internet. There's a lot of
Yeah,
ways.
we buy homes.
We
The
buy
signs,
homes. Like you can just
signs
find
everywhere. Yeah,
exactly.
you go to Google right here, type in that, just say we buy homes in your city or your state. You'll see you'll see some websites pop up. Yeah.
But the main way, like Thomas just said, look at websites like Zillow and find properties that have been sold cash or bought cash, and just reverse engineer that shit. Find who bought it, and take it to True People Search again,
True people.
and find that buyer.
$3.99.
Because if he bought that buyer, I mean, if he bought that property, what makes you think that he won't buy yours if it's discounted at the same price?
And in all these steps that have been spoken about, every step was free 99.
Boy, that shit was so
Only.
free you froze.
Right.
So free he broke the goddamn internet.
Yo, y'all looked at me like, what? I was like, damn, did I say free 99 wrong? What the fuck?
Don't say it no more. You about to break the
Yeah,
internet.
you fucked the whole shit up.
I won't
I
say it no more. I
Google
promise.
listening.
So-
They said free too many times free.
Too much emphasis, yeah. They
So,
ain't feeling that.
in y'all experience, is it easier to find the buyer or is it easier to find the seller?
Well,
I
I
can't
mean,
answer this.
it's easy. It's easier to find sellers because now it
Stick to
does,
foreclosure. Stick to foreclosure.
Yeah. I am.
Okay.
I am. I'm just gonna say that they might not be as motivated as some,
Okay.
but more than likely these people are going to sell their property, and it might not be to you, and it might not be at that time, but eventually they sell. I don't know. What you think, Tony?
I think, well, kind of to what you just said, they might not be as motivated, but I think it's honestly easier to find the buyer. Because the seller, if we're speaking about finding a motivated seller, boy, you could be looking for days.
Yeah.
You could be looking for months.
Straight up. Yeah, there are more motivated buyers. They waiting. They just like,
I can make some money here. Right?
where's it? They waiting for somebody to
Look.
bring a deal to them. They just like, where's it? Nah, for sure.
And I want to go back. You had said something that kind of my fucking head. So
Yeah.
just because you lock up a deal, or once you lock up a deal, and you find a buyer, is it 100% fact that that's going to convert into money in your pocket? Do you run into issues sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely run into issues, and more specifically with foreclosures, which you guys will, more than likely come across, is that payoff. What the payoff is, the title company is gonna request the payoff. The payoff is saying to the lender or to whoever owns whoever put the foreclosure onto the property, is gonna say exactly how much they owe. They're gonna do the whole calculation, the taxes, everything. They're gonna give you a final number, and that's what that number is gonna be. Now, in some cases, well, in most cases, the homeowner doesn't have the most up to date. So that will have to be provided from to the title company. So when that comes back, sometimes it could be a little off, sometimes it can be a lot off, and that would drastically change, what that walkaway number looks like.
What about additional liens on the property?
That too. New creditors, they didn't know that they owed. They can be like, hey, they owe us money too.
Right. So
Yes,
it
sir.
doesn't always convert to money in your pocket. You have to ask questions. You have to fact find. You have to know if there's additional liens on that property because, again, let's say Thomas made an offer on my property for 220. If I owe somebody 80,000, and I
Paid it
didn't tell
all up.
you anything about it. Yeah, so you got to make sure you fact find. You got to make sure that you ask questions. You got to make sure you'll get used to the process once you start. Just start.
Indeed, indeed. But those
Just
are
start.
those are some of the main things that we just gave y'all. Make sure you ask for that payoff when you ask all them other numbers, and just like how you asked the latest mortgage statement. And it'll have some of the most up to date numbers, but that payoff is going to show everything. Can they request the payoff, the homeowner, before it goes to title?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yes, sir. So you can have the homeowner do that. There is a case where, well, it is a opportunity for you to actually call the lender. Now you do have to get them, to sign some rights over to you, limited liability of power, limited. What is the term?
Shit.
Limited power of attorney. Yeah, limited power of attorney. So it'll be limited to speaking about the property. You have them sign that, and you can speak to the lenders for them, and they can, you can request that
Mhm.
payoff. But payoff and asking about any liens, anybody else that has ties to them owing money. Make sure you ask them when you're asking about the condition of the house. Does your roof cave in and all that stuff?
And make sure you're speaking to the person that's on title.
Yes, and if it's two people, make sure that is the person that's handling it, and ask if the other person needs to be in the room or on the phone. Make sure, because you don't want no miscommunication of information, or that person to be like, "Oh, I don't understand it. I should have been on a." Have everybody present.
If there's
Great,
two
great,
people,
great point.
you need two signatures. If
Thank
there's
you.
two
Thank
people,
you.
you need two signatures. For real.
Yes, sir. And if somebody passed, in most cases,
Oh,
you want to get this to them?
go ahead. You got
Yes,
it.
yeah,
You got it.
we'll give it to you. So if somebody passed, a wife or a husband, whatever, and the only person is surviving, obviously, is the other partner, just prepare them to file heirship, application of heirship. Yep, affidavit of heirship. What that means is, what the title company is going to do, they're going to ask family members on both sides, are they entitled, or do they want to fight, ownership of the property, just to make sure that both parties are represented, the deceased and the existing and still living. So that is something to prepare them. Just let them know. They can send it out via email, or they can send it, uh, um, contact the parties via email, by phone, or I'm pretty sure in person as well. So
And
that's
that's not all states.
indeed
Some states do require that you go through the probate process.
probate.
It's a
Yep.
lengthy process. Some states they have survivor rights or something like that,
Yep.
where they don't have to
Mm-hmm.
file. And yeah, the affidavit of heirship that's down here in Texas. But yep, yep.
Yes, sir. So do your research. Do your research. There's laws. There's new laws coming out every day to make wholesaling harder.
Shit, they
There's
got a new law where you have to kind of get your real estate license just to fucking do wholesaling.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in that state too as well. Like I said, mentioned earlier, a way around it is to double close. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna go into it, but y'all do a quick search, you'll figure out what it is. It just places you in a position that looking like you actually want to purchase the property, and then you continue doing the wholesaling.
It is basically you
Definitely do
are
your
purchasing the
research.
property. You are purchasing the property. But what the double close means is, you close one side of it here with the purchase, even if it's not your money. But then you turn around and after that one's closed, you close the second earner. So you are technically purchasing the property, or at least that's what the HUD would say for that one.
And then
But then,
and then you're reassigning it to the investor.
pretty much, yep, yep, yep.
I just
So
wanted
we
to get
did go into
reassigned
it,
in
y'all.
there.
There y'all go. You ain't gotta Google. You ain't gotta look up shit. There it is, straight right there. Yes,
Bang
sir.
bang.
Yes, sir.
And we did that
Um,
whole spiel. Wow,
so
good timing.
let's say people want to get into this business. Um, you know, where would they go to find more information?
First, you come here. Tone, you
Me.
take it away.
Me.
So they got you mentioned them a few times, Pace Morby. You know, you just go to YouTube University. There's people who are teaching online for free. There's another guy named Flip with Rick. There's a third guy, what's his name? The last name is Danji or something like that.
I don't know his
I
name right
forgot
now,
his
Never
but
real
heard of
yeah,
this
I
name.
know
shit,
you're
but
talking
yeah.
about
Then the Flipster dude, I forgot his name too. Jerry Norton, actually.
Jerry Norton.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes out there. Max Maxwell as well, if he's still doing that. There's definitely a lot of people that are in this business and educating people about it. Like I said, like Dean DeGrassi as well. Um,
Tony Robinson, he's a black guy.
that's who I
Amazing.
actually from.
Okay.
Tony Robinson as well. Yes, there's a lot of people that are there teaching it. In some cases they're free, in some cases there's not, but it's 100% accessible to all.
Cool, cool.
You just need internet and fucking a phone or a computer and time and
Everybody,
focus.
everybody got that. What you gonna do with it? You just sitting around. You ain't doing shit. What you gonna do with your life? Huh? You gonna make a change? You see your mama sitting around ain't doing shit. She need help. What you gonna do? Get off your ass. Go and do something. It's just that easy. It's free. You heard him say it. It's free. 90 what? Free 99. 99. It's free. Get your ass up. Do something. All right, that's my efforts commercial.
So,
Hold on. Just want to shout out our sponsors real quick. Perfect Timing Realty, saving property, saving lives. You already know.
Yes, sir.
and shout out to Bobby for the hoodie. Love it, Bobby.
Yes,
Shout out
sir.
Support black businesses,
for
man.
another sponsor, thestapes.com. Black owned affordable clothing. And when you buy it, you're donating to charity as well. You're supporting your people.
That shit
Or
look
black
good
Also,
too.
to our
That shit look smooth as hell.
last sponsor,
Boy, it
Elevated
feel
Credit
good.
Restoration. Get your
It look
fucking
like
credit
it feel
right, man.
good.
That bitch feel
Get your fucking credit right.
good.
Your hair did
But
itself.
so, in this business, how much money could you make? How much money could you make?
You can make a couple thousand, and you know that's one of the fastest ways I did it, where it's like, you know, just you helping you finding two people, you like a bringing you, what is it, like a date, you like a dating expert. You just find two people and you just put them together, say, hey, y'all work perfect together. You can make some money like that. You know, it's a couple thousand, 5,000, 10,000, something like that. Or, you know, you can get you a nice deal and you can make anywhere from 10,000 and up. You know, anywhere ranging from 30,000 to, you know, you in the right market, anywhere to 50,000 and more. Shit.
You can
Sky
make
is
as
the
much
limit.
money as often as you show up, however much you show up, how much money you can make. Shit. You just gotta
Exactly.
keep showing up. You gotta keep putting that effort in. You gotta keep trying to build your system. You gotta keep learning. You know, and eventually, you got it. Eventually, your system will be built. Eventually, you'll be closing deals every month, if not multiple deals a month. You know, you just gotta put the time in now,
Mhm.
so that you know you can have freedom later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Financial freedom.
One thing I do want to touch on, which I feel like is super, super important. Excuse me, scripts. Do not get too caught up on scripts that way to the point where you lose
Lie.
yourself and you rely on it. Remember, you're
Mm.
human. If you don't know how to communicate with people, I get it. Use it as everyone use it as a template, a guide. It's a guide. Don't rely on it too much, because what you'll find yourself doing, and I did it myself, is you'll pull it up and you know what you want to say. You're good at speaking. You know what you want to hit, the points that you want to hit on, but you'll find yourself literally reading it verbatim to every situation. And when you pick up that phone and you call people, you're going to get so many different tones, so many different attitudes, so many different stories. It's not going to fit in every scenario. So you're going to do not rely heavily on that script and try to apply it to every situation. Use it as guide points to make sure that you're hitting everything that you need to hit, but have a conversation. Remember how to have a conversation. If you don't know how to have a conversation, talk with your family. Go out there and just mingle. Go to the club and just talk to people. Just talk. That's all you do, is just
But
talk.
one of the things that we do is role play. We role play. I role
Yes,
play with
sir.
my family. I role play
Yes,
with my daughter. I role play with these guys here. Role play.
This motherfucker role plays with his dog.
Stop like,
Hey, she know how to speak. She understands.
had a dog just sign his life over.
Right.
What's a good deal?
This nigga emailing DocuSigns to dogs, all type of shit, man.
Say that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I touch on that for everybody, because that's going to be one of the main things that you're going to start out with, is coming up with a script. What do you say to these people? With the tone and stuff, man. Just make sure you have a conversation with them, man.
I'm toned, so I got to talk about tonality. So like what Thomas said, you definitely want to read this situation. You definitely want to use the script as a guide to kind of direct you to where you need to be going. It's best not to say it word for word verbatim, but you want to read the situation and focus on the tonality in the conversation. If someone is talking very calm and a little like slow, you want to talk that way too. You don't want to be all fast and choppy and super excited. You want to match their energy. You want to be sensitive to the situation and match their energy, and actually have a conversation from one human being to another. And that's the whole mindset you need to have in it, that you're there to serve them human to human. It's not really, if you think about business, it's hard for you to be yourself, and you ultimately want to be yourself. That's how comfortable you want to be in having these conversations. And there's nothing wrong with it, because you're ultimately either helping someone out or putting money in your pocket. And I don't see nothing wrong with one or the other. So
Indeed.
definitely pay attention to that tonality when you're talking to these people.
Nah, that's
You're
perfect.
not gonna put no money in your pocket if you're not helping nobody. So
Indeed.
it's all comes down to helping somebody. Nobody's gonna sign
Better
that
said.
contract
Better said. I like that.
if they don't feel no benefit from it.
Indeed, you got to add value to people's lives. And I was going to say, another good way to give yourself some time. Make sure you're letting these people talk the majority of the time. You don't want to be talking the majority of the time. It's too much. You're going to overload them. Let them tell you everything that they have to say, all of their anger, all of it. They hate their lenders. Let them get all of it out.
Let them vent.
Let them
And
Yes.
be
vent.
on their side.
Preach.
If they hate their lender,
Mhm.
you hate
You
their
hate
lender
their
too.
lender. Jump them motherfuckers. That's y'all jump anybody they don't like. Anybody.
Right.
Anybody.
Be on their side. Bring value to those people.
Indeed. Value. Keyword, y'all. Value. Make sure, I'm telling you, make sure you write it down. How do you bring value to these people's life? He just gave you a great ass gem. A great ass gem. And words, they're everything. They're everything. You guys are going to learn that. Everything. Great shit.
So another question I had. There are a lot of people out there that thought about getting into wholesaling,
Mm-hmm.
think about getting into wholesaling, thinking about getting into real estate, period.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them start. A lot of them start. What leads? to them stopping? What leads to people being unsuccessful in this business?
I think expectation is a killer. Other than from the question you asked me, people have these expectations of how things are gonna go. I'm gonna do this, ABC is gonna happen, but then EFG happens, and then they're just like,
He said
you know what I'm saying?
EFG.
Like, you have to
Say that.
understand that when you're doing that shit, you're in the wilderness. You're literally finding yourself. You're literally a cocoon in the wilderness, just waiting to blossom. Keep that mindset because it's gonna be unfamiliar. You know what I'm saying? Especially for people who are new doing this. It's gonna be very unfamiliar. It's gonna be very uncomfortable, especially if you don't have the right mindset in the beginning as well. So you gotta embrace everything that's uncomfortable and understand that you're in the trenches and that if you keep treading, you'll walk on water eventually.
I fuck with that. I fuck with that. Um,
Yes, sir.
I lost what I was trying to
Gotcha.
add.
Well, yeah, I feel that too, and I feel like not just expectation, you know, uh, makes a lot of people stop. It's just the the fact that you have to do a lot of self analysis. It's like I said, we said earlier. It's you're really gonna the the strategy really isn't too hard. There's a couple really, yeah, a couple equations, a couple things that you have to hit on as far as each strategy. But for the most part, there's not too much that you have to really learn. It's not too hard. The learning part is going to be, with yourself. So, you know, be ready to learn and improve yourself. Just be ready for that change. Talk to us.
So selflessness is, or selfishness is, what I believe is one of the leading reasons that causes people to just quit. They have those expectations for themselves, to get their first deal within a certain time frame, and just them worried about themselves. I feel like in this business, if you just wake up every day and you worry about, hey, who out there can I help today? Who's out there? Who needs my help today? I feel like the
Hmm.
world needs my help, really. Fucking kids, everybody needs my
Nah,
help.
straight up.
But you wake up with that mindset
Mm-hmm.
and you stay in this business with that mindset, it'll get you far. It'll get you far. And you don't fail if you never quit.
Nah, straight up. And that's the thing. It's either in this world, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, it's either you're starting a service to service a community or the world, or you have a product that's going to help the
Yep.
community
Yep.
or the world. So
Yep.
choose one of them or both of them and make it work. But ultimately, in this industry, a lot of it is service. So like Tony said, you're creating a business of service. So you have to be a servant to the people. Figure out what they need with whatever strategy you're using and service them. It's going to be long nights where you don't make no money from your service, but what you're going to gain is you're going to gain the work that you're putting in. You're actually doing it. You're putting the work in, so you're going to be learning, hands-on learning, not just about yourself, but about the industry. So yeah, like you said, you can't fail as long as you don't stop. You can't fail.
Let me see where we at here.
Where we
Um,
at? Where we at? At the bottom of the map. Oh, where we at? Where we at? Where we at? It's almost time to go,
okay.
y'all.
Uh, Input role play here.
Right.
So we spoke about how to talk to these people
Mhm,
and how where to get their information, their
mhm,
phone number, where to see their documents and everything
mhm.
like that. Um, so now let's give an example of us, talking to these people, a role play.
Okay, let's do
That's
that.
it. Role play.
Lights, camera, action. Hello.
Hey, Tony, this is Tony. Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Tony from where?
We actually don't know each other. I was looking on the county's website and I saw that that your lender was giving you some trouble. Just want to make sure somebody took the time to walk you through all five options that you have to get that auction stopped.
I've been getting bombarded with a whole lot of calls. What exactly can you help me with? Just make it quick.
Well, it really depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, we could start from the top. I could walk you through the five options, and after those five options, we could kind of make a determination as to what steps would be best to take next.
All right, yeah, I got a few minutes to talk.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Um, so before we get into it, is your goal to sell the house or are you trying to stay in the property?
Really trying to keep my house. I haven't really considered selling it. People have told me to do that, but I have a lot of memories here, and I really want to try my hardest to maintain the property.
Got you,
Message.
got you. And that actually makes sense. I haven't ran across too many people that just want to sell their property. Most people do want to stay in their property. So I'll just talk to you really quickly about the first three options. The last two options are just two options of selling. No point on touching those here. So the very first option is reinstatement. Are you familiar with what a reinstatement is?
Yeah, I did speak to the bank. And I have a friend who told me to work something out with the bank, but the bank is not willing to work with me right now because I just lost my job.
Got you, got you, got you. Um, so do you know what a reinstatement is? I feel like I'm asking that shit.
I'm not at full understanding with it. It's some type of payment plan that you work out with the bank, to my understanding. So I'm not
Right, right,
fully
right. So
educated on it, but something like that.
got you. So reinstatement is just simply paying the bank what you owe to get the to bring the loan current. And most people in these situations, they don't have the money in their back pocket, otherwise they wouldn't be in this situation. So what we like to do is we like to talk to people about ways to come up with that money. Very first way we like to talk to people about is a personal loan. Have you considered a personal loan at all? Is your credit okay?
My credit is pretty decent, but being that I'm not working, it doesn't make sense to add an extra bill, and I can't even keep my property. So
Gotcha,
I did try
gotcha.
to do some research myself, and I did consider a loan, but in the long run, it'll ultimately hurt me unless I get a another job.
All right, right. How long have you been without a job?
It's about 2 months now.
About 2 months now. Okay, okay. Um, Honestly, the rest of the options, every option, you have to qualify for. But honestly, if you don't have a job, if you have no income right now, those very first three options you likely won't qualify for. So leads me to ask you um, if you can't get this loan or shit, I fucked up. If you can't get this foreclosure stopped, or what's your plan? Give me 2 seconds. My dog is crazy and crying
Mhm.
right now. Get your ass in. Go lay down. So what happens if you can't bring the loan current? Or what happens if you don't come up with the money to pay the lender?
Just stay with a family member till I get back on my feet. Still gonna look for work and stuff like that. It's just timing. So at that time, if I end up losing the property, I'll just stay with my mom, my sister, or something like that. Get back on my feet, bounce back.
Okay, so that's kind of the plan if you do lose the property.
I mean, that's
Okay.
ultimately, yeah. If I lose it, that's why I would stay.
Okay. So that very first option, it was reinstating the loan. And it doesn't sound like that's a possibility right now, especially with you not working. Um, the next option we go to is working with the lender for a loan modification. And again, because you're not working, that's likely not a solution that would work. Third option would be to file bankruptcy. Now, I don't really like this option, but then again, for your situation, like I just stated, it really wouldn't work for you. If you file bankruptcy, you'll buy some time, maybe 60 days, but during that 60 days, you'll still have payments and things that you have to make toward the bankruptcy. And if you're not able to make those payments, it just doesn't make sense. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so I promised that I wouldn't talk to you about the last two options, but it sounds like we may need to go that route. Has anybody talked to you at all about selling your property?
I mean, a lot of people that I've spoken to were, trying to buy my property. I was trying to do everything I could to keep it. So, I haven't really considered selling it. Like I said, I was just really worried about what I was gonna say if I lost the property. But I was gonna just go out swinging with it. So,
Okay,
shit has just been rough. So I'm just been trying to like figure everything out.
okay. And this is the second time I heard you say you were trying to fight to keep it. What exactly have you been doing?
I'm just applying for jobs as much as I could, even jobs that are paying less than what I'm used to making, just so I could take baby steps to get back on my feet, just so I'm not missing a check or anything like that. So yeah, just been applying.
Okay, and have you spoken with the lender at all? Did they tell you that they could take partial payments, or would they take partial payments?
They told me that they wouldn't be able to really do anything for me unless I'm working. They did state that they would eventually work something out with me once I'm employed again. So I've just been trying to find work.
Got you. And you are aware that that auction is about 3 weeks away?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me if you were able to find work, do you think you'd be able to come up with that money in 3 weeks?
Realistically, what I own, no. The bank did say they would work something out with me once I was employed. So, that's all I've been trying to do right now. I figure once I have a job, I could, work something out with them to keep my property.
Okay. um, so it sounds like best case scenario, you get a job, and then you give the lender a call, and the lender works with you to get that auction stopped. Sounds like worst case is that you sell the property, right?
I mean, if I had no choice but to sell it, I would consider doing that just instead of losing the property.
Okay. Hey, so I don't want to have you thinking too much right now about selling the property. What I do want you to do though, I didn't ask you about, any numbers or anything like that. What I want you to do is, find that mortgage statement and take a look at that, your latest mortgage statement, and just take a picture of that and send that over to me. I'll give you a call back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. And we'll kind of talk about what selling the property
All right,
could
just
look
cut it.
like.
Just cut it.
What? I'm
Just
lost.
cut it. That was the
Just
end of it.
okay. Well, no, I was
You
trying to
set
just
up a
set up a
follow up.
follow up call. I was trying to set
Yeah, I
up a
know. I
follow up
figured
call.
that. That's why I
Okay.
cut it. Because I mean, that's pretty much the end of it.
But yeah, but it's not for
Yeah,
we know
it's
it's
for
the
the
end. This
it's for the people.
go
I still got to cut that shit too.
yeah, start where
uh,
you was
All
at
right, continue.
all right. So
6
if you
p.m.
could just send me a picture of that mortgage statement, and once you get that mortgage statement, I'll give you a call, or once I get that picture, I'll give you a call back tomorrow around 5, and we'll talk about what selling the property could look like. We'll go through the process, and we'll kind of talk about, how much money that would leave in your pocket after selling. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So I got a lot of job hunting to do tomorrow, interviews. I'll send that over to you tomorrow noon. So yeah, by 6 we should be
Okay,
able to
cool,
talk.
cool, cool. That even sounds better. Okay, well, nice talking to you, Tone. I will reach back out to you tomorrow at, you said 5, 6,
6.
6. I'll reach back out to you tomorrow at 6, and we'll go from there.
Got it. Got it.
All right.
All right. Thanks a
So,
lot,
ladies
bro.
and gentlemen, so now that's
That is
it.
how it's done, right there. Well, let's talk about it, y'all. Let's
Let's
talk
talk about
about it.
it.
Uh, I thought it was a great call. The only thing I would say is when disqualifying, as we all know, let them disqualify themselves.
Qualify
Um,
themselves.
and then the other thing um would be to make sure they save y'all's number while
That's a
y'all
fact.
got them on the phone. Make sure they write it down, save it, and make sure you repeat it, and make sure they repeat the number back. That way, they actually did it. Make sure you get that number or they save your number. Besides that, I thought it was a great conversation. You made sure you were clear on what he was speaking about. You hit every point, reiterated each point. You know that that every challenge that was, that he was facing. Uh, you kept it short and simple. You
That
didn't
was a
even
fact.
talk about selling, even though he's in a position that he has to sell. It was sniping, and that's one thing, you guys. Depending on what strategy you guys use, and probably for all of them, a lot of times not a lot of times, most of the times, these people are in an emotional state, pretty delicate. So it's going to take some sniping. You can't just, hey, how's your name?
Can I buy your property?
Yeah, it just won't work like that. It won't. So, man, I thought it was a great call. Y'all talk to me. And talk to the
uh,
people.
I give my own feedback.
Uh-huh.
Because I was trying to keep it short and not try to go too long. I don't feel like I showed enough empathy to the situation. Does that make sense? I don't feel like I hit on
Yeah.
the situation too much at all. I didn't ask about any numbers or anything like that. I didn't get any information. I didn't really information gather at all. I just went
Well,
through the
that was really
process.
good. I think that was a good thing because, like, at the end of the day, you were building trust just
Mm,
by giving out the information you're giving out. You could have made someone put their guard up trying to get information, and the trust is not fully established anyway.
right,
So,
right, right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? He was like, so, and I also do like how I put my guard up with me not wanting to sell the property. And I like how you disqualified everything and then reintroduced the actual option of doing that, even though I stated I wasn't trying to do that. So I like how you just like, all right, you don't want to sell it. Well, how about you try this, this, and this? Well, you can't do this, then maybe you should. I'll give you a call back tomorrow. You didn't push it. You didn't force it. You just threw it out there and kind of left it like a cliffhanger.
It looks like we're getting to that time now.
It's that time to go.
It looks like we're getting to
It's
that
time
time.
for wow, fellas.
Um, what Tone call it? Words of wisdom. Wow.
Words of
Wow.
wisdom.
Guess what? I go first.
Talk to
Um,
us.
believe you can, and you're halfway there. It's pretty self-explanatory. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Just don't believe you can't. You believe you can't, you fucked up. You never
Don't
know.
do that. Boy, your ass
Yeah.
living all the way
Believe you
down them
can, you're
steps.
halfway there.
Yes, sir. Talk to us, Tom.
All right, so mine's a little long-winded, but I might have to explain it a little bit because it's still, sinking in with me. But think like a reaper, not the grim reaper. Think like a reaper. You reap what you sow. So what you put out is what you get in. When you wake up tomorrow fucking morning, I want you to say to yourself, how can I go to sleep feeling good about the day? You think about that, and then you start making a list of things that you need to do to actually give you that feeling of fulfillment. And you start there and you repeat that shit every fucking day. That's that's
Shit,
all I
a
got for
lot of
today.
motherfuckers need to take that
Think
advice.
like a reaper. Think like a reaper, man.
No, straight up. Um, my words of wisdom would be get into this, man. If you don't have no other legal way to, you know, to change the dynamic of what the outlook for your family and your lifeline, your bloodline looks like, this is a step. It's a step. It's a
Big
step
step.
out of, it's a step towards freedom. So man, make that step into
Get your
this.
size 7 men's on.
Yeah. Nah, it's straight up. Yeah, be a big stepper. Come on, man.
Let me find out you remembering bars too, man. Let me find out, man. Let me
Nah,
find out. We
straight
gonna
up.
start having little battles on a low with one-liners. Let me find out. I'm
Nah,
on
straight up.
Pay Dot tonight.
Nah, straight up. So yeah,
Yes, sir, baby.
step in the name of love into
Oh
this
yeah.
into this industry and learn, man. Learn. It's a step, baby.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 22 of Gods in Conversation.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and we got theme music coming up too. Stay tuned. We upgrading over here. We ain't slacking. We ain't slacking. Man, Gods in Conversation.
Yes.